welcome to this week's tutorial. Today we are going to be working with a Doodlebug collection called Pumpkin Spice. It's perfect for this weekend, and I included the shape sprinkles and the Chit Chat die cuts, along with 4 sheets of cardstock from Stamping Up. So 2 Crumb Cake, 1 Daffodil Delight, and 1 Coastal Cabana. This pack is themed fall, autumn, being thankful, which is great for this weekend. And we are going to be using Cutting Guide A today, which means that we're going to make 4 layouts, and so we'll need 4 background pages and 2 accent papers. And going through some of the paper selections here, I did want orange to be sort of what stood out on my layout, so I'm trying to pick papers that aren't as focused on orange themselves, that just have it as an accent color. That's why I went ahead and picked like that minty kind of green color as my cardstock and the yellow as my cardstock, not an orange, which is normally you think of orange as your fall layout kind of color, but I want it to stand out today, so I'm going to choose those other colors. So first of all, here I had to pick 2 accent pages. I really like that plaid paper. It's not directional, which makes it easy to work with, and I went ahead and used those leaves as well because they kind of go with everything. And so here I decided, instead of using 2 colors, to use 3 colors of cardstock. So normally that green and yellow would have been only like 1 of those colors, but 2 of those sheets of colored cardstock. I decided to use both of them just to kind of change it up a little bit, and they're not going to be on each other's pages. So like this green paper here, it will end up being, let's say, on layout number 1 and 3, and the yellow paper will be on layout number 2 and 4. So they're not going to intermingle necessarily. So when I'm picking my background pages here, I'm kind of picking them based on how they're going to work with my cardstock colors. So my son loves pumpkin pie, so I definitely wanted to include that pumpkin pie background paper. I picked it purely for the theming. And then I didn't like how these 2 last papers here didn't work well with my pattern paper, so I went ahead with this dotted paper as my last background paper, but I am concerned that it won't stand out with that leaf paper as much, so we'll have to improvise that in when we're decorating our pages a little bit later on if it becomes an issue. So I knew that when I saw this collection, I was going to have to specifically make a page for pumpkin pie, specifically for my youngest son. He loves pumpkin pie. Like, he would ask for it at Christmas time, and he could eat pumpkin pie all year round. My mother-in-law makes amazing pumpkin pie, and usually we'll pick pumpkins and we'll make sure that she has a few just for baking, and she's always got a supply of pumpkins for everybody because she makes really good pumpkin pie. So, I mean, I know that my husband and my kids don't really watch my channel, so I'm gonna confess up a little bit here and say that, like, I actually refuse to learn how to make pumpkin pie because, like, I know that once I learn how to make it, I'm gonna have to always make it. So it's one of those things where I'm sure everybody does this a little bit, but you kind of don't want to learn how to do something because you don't want to end up having to do it all the time. That's definitely my thing, is that I will not learn how to make pumpkin pie because I don't want to have to always make it. But they're never going to find out because they never watch my channel. So that's our little secret. But anyways, I had a lot of fun making this page just because, like, I have a ton of pictures of pumpkin pie and my kid eating it just because it brings him such joy. So it's definitely going to be a fun page to put pictures on and show him and tell him, you know, that this page is all for him. Next, we're going to be moving on to, I guess it would be our fourth layout. This page, I decided to add a 3x5 photo area. I feel like it could, you know, I think this layout is very versatile in that you can add pictures to it, or a big journaling card, or a 4x6 journaling card that you don't like, that just adds extra theming to your page. You don't necessarily have to journal on it. There's a lot of blank area on this layout, and especially if you pick a more subtle background, you know, I feel like you have a lot to work with here. So this one, I wanted the theming for this page was all about canning and sort of bringing in the garden for at the end of the season before winter. Here, our gardening season only lasts from like the 3rd or 4th weekend of May is when you start, and then you usually have to pull your garden out in about the middle of September. So we do a lot of canning for the winter here, and my kids used to love doing this, and they don't really love it as much anymore. So it ends up kind of being a project I do on my own now. But it is very rewarding to bring in all the stuff that has been growing all season and to, you know, stockpile a bunch of your canning for the winter. So this page is going to be all about that for me, and based on what I bought with this collection, I feel like I was a little bit more limited, because if I would have bought the other die cut collection that comes with this collection, I would have had a lot more images to work with, a lot more theming, I guess you could do with your images themselves. But because I bought like the Chit Chat die cuts, it's mostly titling and tags and thought bubbles and stuff like that. And the 12x12 sticker sheet doesn't quite have, like, it doesn't have a lot of imaging on it. So for like characters and different things like that. So I'm definitely limited that way, but at the same time, it sort of lets the pictures tell the story. And you have your accents just as titles and accents like that. So for my layouts number 1 and layouts number 3, I decided to turn this into a double page layout. We get together at Thanksgiving and like visit, and maybe not so much this year, but in previous years. So for me, I wanted this to be about family gathering and getting together, so I'm going to add a few extra photo spots and I'm going to use these fall 2x2 squares that say fall to sort of tie the two pages together. So I moved down my plaid accent paper that actually is the same size as the one on the layout number 3, which is on the left side, and then on top of that I put the 4 2x2 squares that say fall, just to help tie the two pages together even though they have a different background. I'm going to use some of the embellishments to tie the page together. And I'm going to add a few extra photo areas as well, just because I wanted this layout to be about like a family get together. So there's definitely a lot of titling options to choose from. It was a little bit more tricky to kind of place everything together and not make the layout all about words. So that was definitely a little bit more of the challenge with this layout. So where I live, we actually celebrated Thanksgiving already. We celebrated it last month, but I know for a lot of you, this weekend, you guys are celebrating Thanksgiving. And so in honor of giving thanks, I would like to say that I am super, super grateful for all of you guys that watch and have subscribed and support me with kind words. And you know, I love it when I hear from you guys and hear what you guys have been doing with the cutting guides or what you have been doing with some of the layouts that you created. I love hearing your stories, and I love it when you guys reach out to me, even through email. And I am super grateful that I'm able to connect with you guys in this way. We are all having to connect with each other a little bit differently this year. And with that being said, I would like to do a giveaway. And so basically what I'm going to be doing is giving away 3 paper packs. So one from Bow Bunny, one from Photo Play, and one from Simple Stories. And I'm going to be mailing this out to one lucky winner, and this winner is going to be randomly chosen from all the people that leave a comment on this video saying what they're thankful for. So leave a comment on this video, say what you're thankful for this season, and your name will be put into a draw, and I will be picking a lucky winner, and then I will get an address from you and we'll ship it out to you. So I want to thank you guys all for watching, and we will see you in a couple weeks with a new tutorial video. Have a great and safe weekend, everybody.